Fabulous afternoon really from a Newcastle United perspective. You must be very pleased with both the players, the staff and the crowd.
Yeah, everyone played a big part in that win today. I thought it's been a really good few days for us. Goes to show how, never surprises you, but how football can change quite quickly. Two big performances against two very good teams. Today was built on all of our qualities that we've shown historically really in the last 3 years. Heart, determination, desire, and quality as well. So, yeah, good day for us.
This has become an incredibly tough place for teams with title winning aspirations to come to. What do you put that down to?
I don't know, it's difficult to see from the other team's perspective. I'm usually just solely focused on ourselves and trying to make sure we're where we need to be to win these type of games. And there was a low game on chance creation today. Neither team created abundance of goal opportunities, but I think that's down to the quality of the sides and how difficult it was to break either our defensive line or their defensive line. One mode of quality wins us the game, and it's small margins always to win any game at the Premier League.
I think there was a compliment in there, but Arteta said you're very good at what you do, and you can drag teams into the style of game that you want to play. How do you respond to that?
It's irrelevant to me what anyone says really, apart from my team, and that's how we've always looked at it, because there's always outside noise, whether that's wherever it comes from. So we just try to do what we do to try and win games on a consistent basis. We know that it's been inconsistent this season. We've had good bits, some not so good bits. I think generally the last few games our performance level has definitely increased, and we've been consistent with it. Initially the results didn't come. Last two games I think we've been rewarded for that upturn. Now we've got to make sure it stays.
Thank you. Okay, we'll go to Damien's back. Eddie, was that the Newcastle of 2 seasons ago today?
I think there's a lot of similarities, yeah. A lot of similarities in our Champions League season. The qualification season. I think I can remember lots of games that took similar paths, really. It wasn't necessarily the path that we expected the game to go today. That wasn't necessarily the game that we envisaged it would be, but then you have to adapt. The goal, I think, had a big bearing on the game. Second half, we had to be really smart with what we did, and a big compliment to everybody to how we defended our goal in that second period.
Okay. You said it's a great team performance, but special word for your fullbacks who I thought were outstanding.
Yeah, it was always going to be a game where they were going to have a lot to do defensively, because they're up against really dangerous opponents, and with how Arsenal play, it's almost a one-to-one duel. I think a big compliment to them with how they played, but also to our wide men. The effort of Joelinton and Anthony Gordon to help them and protect them and cover space was second to none. I thought the attitude of those two players really stood out.
George?
Just up to Sean Longstaff outside. I mean, he's been exceptional in both these two games. It's a great reminder about the qualities that he brings to the team.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I thought Shaw played really well today. I thought his technical ability really high, played some lovely passes. His defensive understanding is always very, very strong. He knows where to stand. He knows how I want the team to play in every situation. So delighted for him, because it's not been an easy period for him. He's had to work his way back into the team. And then when you get your opportunity, you have to take it. I think he's done that in the last 2 games.
Midfield were the bits of the team. Sometimes it's felt this season as if there are kind of little problems everywhere to be solved. And in the last 2 games, it's felt like there's been lots of answers on the pitch. Do you sort of understand what I mean?
Yeah, I think that those problems or issues or things that you highlight are always there, really. I think when you're in my shoes, you're always trying to solve something or improve something and change, not massive changes, but little tweaks, because you can't stand still. I think the balance of the team has looked pretty good for the last few weeks, even in defeat a couple of times. The Brighton game really stands out for me. I don't think we did a lot wrong in that game. The performance level was very high. Sometimes you've got to be careful not to change something that isn't broken, and have faith and belief in the players. I think we've tried to do that, and it always makes a difference when you win.
Thanks, George. Of course, Craig and Scott.
Eddie, you said that's important not to change something that isn't broken, and there's been a lot of discourse around the midfield this season. You have changed the midfield this week. You made 2 changes on Wednesday and 2 changes kind of again today. You left Sandro Tonali out. There was a lot of noise around that before kick-off. And you just thinking as to the midfield during the past 4 days and how you think it's functioned.
How long have you got, Craig? That's not a short conversation, that one. I think we've got very good players competing for a limited number of places. For me, the team overrides any individual. The team has to take priority, so you can think whatever you think about individual players, that the midfield or any area of the team that you're talking about has to function well together. I thought it did again today. I was really pleased. Joe Willock had something different. Sean had something different. Bruno had something different. Sandro does. They're all unique players. I mean, and then you missing out Joelinton, who's played wide and done an incredible amount of effort and work for the team in a different area of the pitch. So it's good to have those decisions. I'm sure there'll be a lot more debate as we move forward in the future.
Scott, just going back to Lewis Hall, and when you talk about debates, I mean, there was debates last season about why we maybe weren't seeing as much of him as we thought we might, and fans were saying, we were talking about it. The way that he's developing now, how important was that period, maybe when we weren't seeing him, when you were working with him, doing whatever, to where he's got now?
Yeah, well, you're talking to someone who believes in the coaching philosophy. I believe in development. Very, very difficult to sign young players, which Lewis was when we initially signed him, and he still is, but to come straight into your team. Now, there was a big transfer fee attached to his name, and I think that was the issue for everybody. They wanted to see him straight away. We knew he had a bit of work to do to get to the level that we needed him to be. The challenge then for Lewis is to accept that he's come for a big transfer fee and actually do the work. And I've seen players that haven't responded well to that. I think to Lewis's great credit, he got his head down, he did the work. He worked incredibly hard after training, double sessions, a lot of a review and analysis of how he was getting on. And we had no doubts that he would then step into the team and hopefully take his opportunities when they came. I thought he really grabbed it towards the end of last season. And he hasn't looked back at the beginning of this, and I still feel there's more growth and development in his game, but I think he's in a really good place. I think he's started the season very well.
And you said, didn't you, that one of the reasons to kind of move through when you did was that there wasn't actually a lot of other options out there, and you thought that you might lose the chance to get him at that time. How exciting is it to have him now at a time when there's not many left backs around, certainly not English left?
That was exactly the thought process. We felt that if we didn't grab the opportunity to take him when we did, we would possibly regret that in a year's time and then look round and not find a similar player of similar level with the potential that he had. So I think there's always a timing issue around transfers. Sometimes you can get the timing right, sometimes you can miss the opportunity when it arises. Thankfully we took it, and people understood as well at above me at board level the thought behind the signing, and I think that's really important too.
Quite a few to get through. We'll start with Dominic, we'll go to Lee and then Mark.
Bruno's won more free kicks than any player in the Premier League this season. So important in games like today, going in the clock down. Do you think that's a real skill of his?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's naturally an asset I look at from a centre midfield player. I think it's associated with his game. He's very comfortable taking the ball in really tight situations when he's marked. That's, I think, a great quality of his, and I think naturally then he brings a higher level of fouls to his numbers. But I think I was really pleased with Bruno today. Difficult coming back into the team after the midweek, and it's always difficult when you have a slightly fragmented training week. But I thought he performed well today.
You're unbeaten with Sean Longstaff in the side this season, haven't won when he hasn't started the game. Is that just a coincidence, or does he bring on the personality?
No, I don't think that's a coincidence from my side. I think statistically the team with Sean in it does have a really high percentage win. We do look at those types of things because sometimes it can give you a clue. It's not going to give you the answer, but it can just give you a clue around certain things. Sean does bring his qualities, as I said, his tactical understanding is second to none. He does help the team in lots of various ways, but there's other reasons for that. I don't think it's just as simple as put Sean in the team and you win. I wish it was that easy.
Thanks, Dom. Lee?
Eddie, how do you take this now to the next level after getting through what's been a difficult week? How do you go to the next level?
That's the key for us. We don't want it to be a one-win isolated moment where we're happy with ourselves. It's back-to-back wins for us at home against two top-quality teams. That's really pleasing, but we now know Nottingham Forest takes huge priority for us, and if we can end this period of games with another positive result, it leaves us in a great place.
Just on the crowd, I mean, sometimes a 12:30 kick-off, it can be a bit slow to get started. I think on the offset, you got what you wanted. I think you asked for red hot before the game, and that's exactly what you got.
Crowd are always helping us at home, and I think when we got the first goal, it was a key moment for us, especially with them involved. It gave us something to hold on to, enabled us to play in the way that we did second half, and I actually think defending the Gallagher end at the end actually helped us as well, because it all felt we were having the same aim in the stadium.
Mark?
Alex, there was a bit of criticism of him, I think, after the Brighton game, since he scored 3 and 3. I mean, it just goes to show, I suppose, what a class act he is.
Yeah, no, he is a class act. He is an outstanding player. I'm really pleased to see him score the type of goal that he did today, because it's not a trademark Alex goal, but it's such an important avenue of goals for us. Great cross from Anthony. He's in the right position. I think it's an incredible header from the distance that he was out. So that's a great thing, and he'll feel better about himself. 3 goals in 3 games. A totally different field possibly to how we felt before the Chelsea game last week.
The amount of defensive work he's getting in at the moment, it feels like that's a part of his game that we don't really talk about too much, but the way that he pressed from the front today was something.
Well, I think always it's underestimated, because your number 9 is your first defender, and that's how we look at it. And if you look at Arsenal defend, they defend with every single player. There's no passengers in their team. Same with Manchester City. All the top teams, it's everyone involved, and I think Alex has really taken that on for us. Callum, I think it's more natural to Callum. I think he's brilliant in that respect of his game, and I think Alex has really grown, and hopefully will continue to improve.
I'll squeeze a few more in. We'll go Ian, Aaron and Chris, please.
Eddie, bearing in mind the stick he got for substituting Tonali midway through the second half, it's a brave decision to leave him out after a good performance midweek. Were you aware, were you braced for a negative reaction had you'd have been on a hiding to nothing if there was something going the wrong way and you'd left him out?
I think that comes with the job. I don't think there's any escape for me in that. It's always going to be up for debate. Decisions will always be debated, and if you don't win, you're going to get criticised. I've been in it long enough to know now.
Thanks. Aaron?
Eddie, you've often called Sean Longstaff sort of the unsung hero of the team. Is there maybe shades of that with Joe Willock? It feels like he's had a very good week. When he plays, he sort of raises the level of the team and the players involved.
Yeah, I think Joe is really well liked within the squad. He's a very popular lad. He's got really good relationships, I think, when he's in the team with players around him. I think he dovetails really well with Joe Linton. You could see them interchanging positions today. Joe and Alex also have a really good relationship too on the pitch. So I think naturally, when you have those feelings around certain players, it can elevate the players around you. I think Joe's capable of that. I thought he gave us really good 60 minutes today before he faded and was getting a bit of cramp. So I think it just goes to show that Joe's got more physically to come. He's been out injured a long time. He's not absolutely ready to play 90 minutes yet, but he's slowly getting there.
Chris, the finish, please.
Just on Joe there, you mentioned tweaks. He seemed to have a tweak to rule today. Can you just explain what the logic was behind that?
Yeah, we looked at something slightly different out of possession today, and that was in part decided my team selection. And this is where I understand people just look at the names on the list, but of course we're trying to prepare the game and trying to give ourselves the best chance of winning. So I won't go into too much detail, but a slight tweak.
Thanks, everyone. Cheers.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.